Jim Stevens back with you from beautiful Hamburg, Germany, site of the 2017 World Cup, as we begin a great night of doubles action here in Hamburg. The opening round getting underway. We're going to take you right on through to the conclusion of the event tonight. There you see Jakub Ziencikiewicz in the forward position, Mateusz Fudala at goal. They are from Poland. They're on the left side of your screen. And on the right, the outstanding player out of Hungary, that is Detre at forward, Robert Ikervari at goal. We're going to start on the Garlando table. We'll move over to the Leonhart in the second game. It is best 3 games out of 5, each game played 2-5. And of course, the 5th game will be divided between the 2 tables. This multi-table format, of course, so exciting each and every time we watch it. And this year especially, with the quality of the competition here, with nearly 800 players in attendance, all the best players in the world here, more than 40 different countries, and we're going to decide who is the best doubles team in the world here tonight. This is Robert Ikervari, part of that very good Hungarian program. Detre, perhaps the best of the Hungarians. He's the forward. There's a pass attempt. As we're opening things up on the Garlando table, and for those of you who have not watched table soccer before, you're going to see the difference between the 5 different official tables. This is the Garlando. It can be a difficult table to adapt to if you're not accustomed to it. As you can see, the sidewalls are banked. They are sloped. And Ziencikiewicz will have the first scoring opportunity. This is a very talented player out of Poland. And you certainly also have to be very talented to be able to pronounce his last name. It does not look at all the way it is pronounced. Ikervari again with possession, bottom of your screen. Again, we'll play the first game here on the Garlando, then move to the Leonhart. The Poles have the Garlando as their home table. Detre, a very good player out of Hungary, who now lives in Germany and competes on the German tour, which of course uses the Leonhart, among others. Here's Detre, shooting the snake shot and finding the hole. Kind of cut that one perhaps just wide of the defensive men. And let's look at it again. Detre took some time and then flipped it over off a man to the corner. It's 1-0. Again, the replays, courtesy of the good folks at Zoom Productions. This is Ziencikiewicz trying to come down the middle. Locked away and taken away by Ikervari. There are probably 8, maybe 12, maybe 16 different teams that are capable of winning here tonight. Sport's greatest player, Frederick Collignon, not here this weekend. And, of course, Fred has basically been retired for the last 3 or 4 years. Every once in a while, he'll show up at a tournament, and most of the time, he'll still win. But not here this weekend. Apparently had other things to attend to and was unable to make it here to Hamburg. And when he's not at a tournament, it really opens the door for, as we say, maybe as many as perhaps 16 different teams. You have very strong Garlando teams from Austria. You have the great Tornado teams from the United States, the Bonzini pairs from France. And, of course, all the good German teams who have the Leonhart as their home table. And there is Ziencikiewicz stroking it home to make it 1-1. Jakub Ziencikiewicz showing you why he is probably the best player in his home country, firing it home to that far side. Back comes Detre, passing it through, setting it up. That shot attempt blocked by Fudala. It hops back to Detre. David, over the last 4 or 5 years, has really become an outstanding multi-table player. Speaking of multi-tables, you saw the Leonhart waiting patiently for the second game and the fourth game, if we get that far. And that one off the corner, up into the air and off the table. That ball will be put back into play by Robert Ikervari. We had a full day of action here yesterday, and we had classic doubles events. We had speedball events. That one's going to be angled into the goal. A transition goal there for the Hungarians. It's now 2-1. Watch here is the shot attempt by Ikervari. Comes off that back wall and then tapped in, redirected by Detre into the goal. 2-1 lead for the Hungarians, Detre and Ikervari. But David Detre has had success at World Championship Series events on several different tables. He is a guy that you would have to put, I think, in your top 20 multi-table players currently playing. And some might have him a little higher than that. A defensive goal here for the Hungarians. It's 3-1. Watch here, the shot attempt by Fudala. Knocked back in. You got to be ready for that if you're a Mateusz. Ziencikiewicz. We'll call timeout. So we have doubles tonight. We had singles qualifiers earlier today, and the singles event will play through tomorrow. We'll also begin qualifying rounds for the World Cup event. And of course, the World Cup is what really makes this particular event so special. That team event. There's really nothing else like it in the sport, and we're really looking forward to that event. And apparently they have pre-sold more than 1,000 tickets to the general public to come and sit in this arena, which, by the way, holds 800. Yes, but Ziencikiewicz able to stroke that one home to make it 3-2. Watch here as again Jakub Ziencikiewicz exploits the far side of the goal. Back comes Detre. 3-2 lead early on for the Hungarians. You see the switching defense shown by Fudala, and then he makes a last-second switch to a reverse defense, makes the block in, takes it away. But I think in the history of the sport, we have not seen a gathering quite like this one here this weekend. Never has there been nearly 800 players at a World Cup event. Detre again, and Fudala again there defensively. So Mateusz doing a very good job against the 3-rod. That one knocked back towards Mateusz, and Jakub Ziencikiewicz able to pick it up here. Passed back along that near wall. These good Garlando players make it look so easy to play on this table. It is not easy to do. Trust me, I have played on the Garlando table many times, and it is a very difficult table to adapt to, especially if you're accustomed to a tornado or an American-style table, or even those who play on the German tables and, of course, the French Bonzini table have some trouble adapting to this table, which is one of the reasons that you'll find the Eastern Europeans and the Austrians in particular so proficient on this table, and it really does give them a strong advantage. They're that good on their home tables. But the collection of talent here this weekend is, I think, second to none. No, Frederick Collignon isn't here, but everybody else is. There are more than 60 players here from the United States. Germany has a team, I think, even larger than that. You have juniors, you have seniors, you have women's events, and, of course, the men's events. And the team events as well. Jakub Ziencikiewicz will put the ball back into play and look to tie this first game up at 3. Jakub fires it home. Really showed great patience there, and he's evened it up at 3 here in this first game. Look at it one more time. He went deep to the far side the first couple of times, went more towards the middle of the goal on that one. Detre coming back, passing it through, setting it up, and looking to give his team the lead. He's just scored the 1 goal so far from the 3-rod. That one again blocked by Fudala, then the second effort keeps it out. And Ziencikiewicz now. And look for a 3rd goal in a row for the Polish team, and he finds it. It's 4-3. Look here, you see the grip, you see the focus, you see the score. Possession here for Detre. David will call time out. Of course, if anybody out there is watching and would like to send me a Facebook message, that's what I'm monitoring. If you have any comments, questions, anything else, send me a message on Facebook. And a shout out to Mr. Joe Hesslinga watching in Southern California. Joe, the producer of an upcoming documentary. Not in the short term upcoming, but eventually. We know he's still working hard in the editing studio to make it happen. That one will be titled, at least tentatively, Foosballer. So hello, Joe. Glad you're out there watching. Detre puts it back into play and fires it home to tie it up at 4. Watch here, as Detre didn't take a lot of time and didn't need to, as he nailed that near corner. One thing you really notice on the close-up is how large the goal is on the Garlando table and how small the men's feet are. And of course, what that means is there are some big holes, and you saw Ikervari in the forward position. Detre was back defensively. Ikervari takes it away, grabs it on the 5, calls timeout, and will bring David back into the forward position. We're tied up at 4 here in the first game on the Garlando table. And I don't have it in front of me, but I'm assuming the Garlando is the Polish home table in this match. Detre is so good on the German-style tables that I'm pretty certain that perhaps they elected to play Leonhart. But with the multi-table players, often you don't know, and I don't have the documentation in front of me. What I'll do in the next few matches, I'll actually go down and ask them if I don't know. Sometimes it's fairly obvious. Detre back to forward, bold, put it into play. Tied up at 4 here in game number 1. Now it along that near wall. For a first game win, David Detre. Stokes it home down the middle, so Detre and Ikervari led 3-1, trailed 4-3, and then came back with 2 in a row to finish off that first game 5-4. Thanks to this from David Detre. So we're going to move over to the Leonhart table. That is the German table. The Garlando is built in Italy, but is used primarily in Eastern Europe, and certainly, as we said, I think Austria, the prime users of that particular table. In fact, speaking of Austria, I do want to talk about, as the course of the weekend goes on, the fact that this is the second time that the World Cup has been held here in Hamburg, Germany. The first time was 11 years ago. In 2006, the first ever World Cup, the first ever multi-table international event of that size, and it was the first ever team event. And while there were a lot of logistical problems in the fish auctions halle here on the river in Hamburg, about a 400-year-old building, the event itself was amazing. It was the first time we ever really had that Olympic Village kind of feeling, and of course we'll never forget that Saturday night when we watched the USA and France play for 4 hours in what I consider foosball's greatest moment, the greatest match ever played. And the team, and many people forget about it, they all remember that match, the USA versus France in the quarterfinals, but it was Austria who won the first ever World Cup title. And Austria will again have a very strong team here this weekend. The Leonhart, primarily an option for German players and German teams. A few other countries also enjoy playing on it, of course. Garlando, Eastern Europe, Austria. The Bonzini table is primarily French and Danish and Belgian, with Luxembourg also playing on that table. The Roberto Sport table, another table played in Eastern Europe and Italy. And of course the Tornado table, the table played in North America, in South America, in the Far East, and even in the Middle East. And as the weekend goes on, believe me, we're going to have a lot of time to talk about a lot of things, and we'll talk about the features of the different tables. We'll talk about characteristics and the different countries that consider them their home tables. Because despite the fact that we did have a long day of table soccer yesterday and a full day of qualifications today, it is just after 6 o'clock here in Hamburg. We really are just now kind of getting into the action. This is really the first match of what we assume is going to be a great next 4 days of action. Here we go. Second game underway, and Ziencikiewicz immediately losing it back to Detre. David Detre, Robert Ikervari leading 1-0. There's Fudala to block it and take it away. Sends it up the table and in. It's 1-0. Let's look at that one again, as Ikervari made the block and then sent a pass along the outside wall, and it angled in. 1-0 1-0 lead for the Poles here in game number 2. That one fired on goal by Fudala, picked up here by Ikervari. Robert looking at the banks. It's a very good banking table. Trying to go off that outside wall, angled towards the goal by Detre. Eventually the rebound able to be picked up by Jakub Ziencikiewicz, who passes it through the lane and can increase his team's lead here. One thing you will see on each and every of the 5 official tables is players shooting the snake shot. Yes, even on Bonzini, which we used to think was impossible, but there are some very good snake shooters on the Bonzini table. If you're a good snake shooter, you're going to have a good 3-rod on any of the 5 tables. It's the rest of the game oftentimes that is more difficult to perfect. Shot near side, blocked by Ikervari. Picked up again by Ziencikiewicz, who advances it. That's the Polish team on the bottom, the Hungarians on the top. Ziencikiewicz shot attempt, and again Ikervari there. A quick clearing effort picked up here by Ikervari. And the pass. Detre setting it up off-center. This is a series we've seen him use in the past with some success. Try to come deep near side, and again Fudala is there. And the rebound caroms to Ziencikiewicz. Jakub Ziencikiewicz fires it home. It's 2-0. Bringing you opening round action in the men's doubles competition. This was a nice shot by Ziencikiewicz. And that one knocked in to make it 3-0. So Jakub taking advantage of the loss on the 5-row by Detre. Watch this, David. Just simply loses it. Jakub quickly bringing it across with the left hook. Detre, Robert Ikervari finding themselves down 3-0 here in game number 2. As Detre able to pass it through, and again the off-center far side. He'll give a little wiggle and go straight sometimes, as he tried to do there. Maybe pushes it just a couple of centimeters over towards that far side. He can hit it very deep to the near corner, and then of course he'll pick the middles. Let's see what he does here. Detre waits, looks, again tried to take it out to the far side. Fudala, who has competed against Detre many times and was looking for it, makes the block and takes it away. Mateusz off that inside wall, picked up here by Ikervari. 1-0 lead in games for Detre and Ikervari, but the Polish team of Ziencikiewicz and Fudala leading 3-0 here in the second. And stolen away here by Jakub. And he brings that over, fakes and taps it in. That's another nice play by Jakub Ziencikiewicz. Watch this. He gives the fake one way, back, stops, and angles it in. It's 4-0. Four-0 lead here in the second. And Mateusz Fudala will call time out. Mateusz Fudala will put the ball back into play. The Polish team a goal away from tying this matchup at 1 game apiece. Again, it's best 3 games out of 5. The winner survives. The loser is finished. Ball off the table, put back into play by Mateusz Fudala, who's setting it up in the center of the table, looking at the banks, tried to come off that inside wall, and there is Ziencikiewicz to slam dunk it home to win game number 2. Watch this. The bank and the rebound. And game number 2 goes to the Polish team of Ziencikiewicz and Fudala. We are even at 1 game apiece, and we're going to head back over to the Garlando table for game number 3.
Tables 5 and 6.
Detre, Robert Ikervari lose that second game on the Leonhart table 5-0 as we move to game number 3 on Garlando. Picked up here by Fudala, who has been very good defensively so far in this match. Only allowing 2 scores, I believe, maybe 3 scores from the 3-rod of Detre. Looks like they may want to change balls or not sure what they were doing with the ball, but either way, it's going to be Robert Ikervari who puts the ball back into play. Tied up at a game apiece. Opening round action in open doubles. Men's doubles. And taken away here by Ziencikiewicz. Jakub. Fakes and then strokes it home deep to that near corner. That was a beautiful shot by Jakub Ziencikiewicz. Watch this, a good hard fake to the left. And then a shot. That one actually looked like it angled back and hit that far post and went in. It's 1-0. Detre needs to get something going, and he does find the hole here to make it 1-1. David again took 2, maybe 3 seconds before he angled it home. I don't think that's what he meant to do either. I think he was trying to go straight down the middle. I think Fudala thought that and actually had that covered. Picked up here by Mateusz Fudala. 1-1 in games, 1-1 in score here in the third. Jim Stevens with you from the Kampnagel in Hamburg, Germany. Mateusz Fudala will set up a pull shot and stroke it home. Gorgeous shot by Mateusz Fudala, who has played himself quite a match. He has really shown what kind of goalie he is. Watch this. Sat on it and drilled it to make it 2-1. Back comes Detre. David is getting opportunities. And he finds that far side. That's probably the best shot of the match so far. You kind of saw him exhale afterward in relief. But he squared it off with speed and power to that far side to even it up at 2 here in game number 3. Ziencikiewicz coming back. It's been a very tight match in this opener. Oh, another beautiful explosive shot here by Jakub. It's 3-2. Talked a little bit about that event 11 years ago here in Hamburg at the Fish Auctions Halle, which is basically an old building down on the river, the Elbe River here in Hamburg, that was used for fish auctions, just as it's suggested. But at that event, everybody was good on their home table. There were very few players outside of Frederic Collignon who were proficient on more than one table. Fred, of course, was very good. He was great on every table. But everyone else really had to adapt and had to play out, sometimes for the very first time, on the other tables besides their home. But since then, in the 11 years since that event, players around the world have come a long way. There are a lot of players who are very good on multi-tables. Very few on all 5, but a lot that are good on 2, 3, and maybe 4 tables. And it really has made the competition interesting, exciting, and very competitive. That's a pass by Ikervari that gets through to Fudala. Detre, Robert Ikervari won the first game. There's another pull shot by Fudala. It's 4-2. Very similar to the previous one as he set it up and drilled it home. Mateusz Fudala has really made a major contribution on both sides of the ball so far in this match. And he and his partner, Jakub Ziencikiewicz, leading 4-2 here in game number 3. Detre putting it into play, brushing it through. Detre strokes it home near side. David starting to get untracked, but still behind in this third game as he finds the near corner. Ziencikiewicz and Fudala led 4-3 in the first game on the Garlando table. Or Detre and Ikervari scored the final 2. Detre couldn't connect on that pass, and here is Fudala. This is a table, the Garlando, that you can score very well with a 2-rod, especially with a pull shot. We have seen Billy Pappas a few years ago in Salzburg, Austria. Billy Pappas played the open singles competition at the Garlando World Championships and won open singles, and must have averaged 3 per game from his 2-rod and shooting primarily pull shots. Here's Detre. That shot attempt blocked by Fudala up into the air and off the table. Now, Billy Pappas is in a league of his own. Now watch this here. Watch the defensive play by Fudala, who acted as if he was going to move off the hole, stayed home, blocked it, and it leads to that final goal in game number 3. And Jakub Ziencikiewicz and Mateusz Fudala now lead 2-1. As again, Fudala off that inside wall, and it gets through Ikervari for the win. So credit Mateusz Fudala with 3 goals from his 2-rod in that third game, helping his team to the 2-1 lead. But again, that World Championship, and I want to say it was 2012 in Salzburg, Billy Pappas showed you just what kind of offensive damage could be done on a Garlando table from the 2-rod. And a lot of that is, again, the narrowness of the man's foot and the size of the goal. We do use the multi-handle system here. That you basically have your own handles. That same handle works on every table. You'll see players using a longer, thinner, tornado-style handle. Some of the French players on Bonzini use a knob, if you can believe it, especially the old-school Bonzini players. Everybody has their preference. There's several different types of handles. Here we are in Hamburg again, sitting high above the sidelines in the arena. But the TST handle system, where everybody has their own handle, has been somewhat of an equalizer. You still get that same feel, at least with your hand on each table. If you're an American player, your preference is probably for a tornado style. French players will use a much smaller handle. As we get game number 4 underway. Team on the left, the team from Poland, Ziencikiewicz and Fudala, leading 2-1 in this best 3 out of 5 opening round doubles match. All 5 doubles competitions taking place right now in the elimination brackets. Of course, you have the men, the women, the juniors, the seniors, and the disabled. Ziencikiewicz strokes it home near side. Jakub looking confident as you see the release in the opening goal of this 4th game. Detre again setting it up off center. Every possession now for David Detre vitally important. He's trying to keep his team alive. Does find that very tight hole down the middle. It's 1-1 here in the 4th thanks to this effort from David Detre. That one's going to get through. Detre made the initial block. Ziencikiewicz picks it up, sets it up, and looks to give his team the lead once again. Try to go far side. Blocked away, comes back to Jakub. It fakes and then drills it, I believe, back down the middle. Might have come off of the man of Ikervari. Let's look at it. Comes around with the fake. No, just cut it back cleanly into the goal to make it 2-1. And the steal, the quick pass, knocked down by Detre, comes back to Robert. And that one blocked back into the goal. Everything going the way of the Polish team. They're up 3-1 already, leading 2-1. That one defensively knocked off that outside wall and in. Detre able to come back, passing it through. Again, the pressure on David to score every time he's got the ball. As he works that far side. Fudala daring him to come near. He waits, and then he does drill that near corner to make it 3-2. David kept looking at the far corner before bringing it all the way over, and he can do that. He brings it all the way across with speed and depth. That's really the option that sets up that particular series, is the ability to hit that deep near corner, and then he can pick and choose from the shorts and the middles. Ikervari keeps that one out. Robert again has possession of the ball. It's now 3-2 here in the 4th. Ziencikiewicz and Fudala. Ikervari puts that one on goal, and it's picked up here by Mateusz Fudala. Fudala comes down the middle, blocked back into the goal by Detre. It's 3-3. 2 in a row from Detre and Ikervari. This one a defensive goal to tie it up here in the 4th. Jakub Ziencikiewicz. The Polish pair rocked a little bit by these last couple of goals. They felt comfortable, and you never can feel comfortable until you win, until the match is over. Now, I think Ziencikiewicz asking for the jar, and they say yes. They're going to award it to his 3-rod. This would be a really good time for a timeout for Jakub Ziencikiewicz. Giving up the last 2. Let's let him think a little bit about the jar and about what had come before this. Instead, he goes with the shot. It's blocked by Ikervari, and then the top spin carries it in. Let's have another look at that one as the shot attempt was blocked straight up and then right back in. That is a tough turn of events for Detre and Ikervari. The block was made, but that one spun back in, and it's match point for Ziencikiewicz and Fudala. Detre will put the ball back into play. Rushes it through, gathers it in, sets it up, and looks to tie it up. Let's see if he does score this, whether we see a switch on the right side. He does tie it at 4. He's thinking about it. And what's he going to do? He is going to switch. He's going to move back. Ikervari moving forward. Of course, if Robert Ikervari gets the steal, if he gets a possession, he's going to call timeout to bring Detre back to forward. But Ziencikiewicz has an opportunity right here, shooting against Detre to send his team on. But first, he'll call timeout. Detre, these last couple of games, has shot the ball very well from the 3-rod when he's had opportunities. He's been very good offensively. The last half of the match, he's going to need to be good defensively right here as Jakub Ziencikiewicz puts the ball back into play and looks to win the match. Jakub setting up the snake shot. Ziencikiewicz strokes it home down the middle. Jakub Ziencikiewicz and Mateusz Fudala defeat Detre and Robert Ikervari in 4 games to advance in the men's doubles competition. Outstanding effort by the 2 Polish players, culminated with that one.
Miejmy nadzieję, że nie będziemy potrzebować 4 rączek już. Muszę kogoś narwać na smolach i odpad, może desantę zacznie.